ただいま、ジェームズです。さっき、フロリダから帰ってきました。You'll have to excuse my pregnant pauses, cause moving between Japan and the States is about 24 hours door to door. I began the day waking up at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at a Holiday Inn Express near Tampa International. Took a 6:58 a.m. flight to Chicago. Amazingly, there were places to eat inside the airport before 6:58. Got to Chicago, had 4 hours to kill, ate too much, got on a 12.5-hour flight from Chicago to Tokyo, which turned out to be about just as dumb as the flight there. I did take a lot of footage on the way there, and some on the way back. This one video here is going to be a singular, なんか単独な video, a singular update. While I figure out what to do with the rest of the footage. Oh, what highlights? Oh yeah, I went into a record store that had a manga section, and I picked up a random, a random manga. Thing is, I don't know anything about manga, but I picked up a random one, Hanakimi, just to see if I knew any of the people. You know, I looked at the manga to see if I knew any of the people doing the translator, and sure enough, the first one I pick up, Hanakimi, listed David Yuri. So if Ken Tanaka is watching this, please be sure to let your twin brother know. What else? Flight back, 12.5 hours from Chicago to Tokyo. I swear to God, that's the last time I'm flying across the Pacific in economy class on United. Domestic within the US on United, or TED, or whatever they call it, was actually not bad. I was kind of hesitant about the Airbus 320 before this, but that was not bad. I mean, the flights between Chicago and Tampa were pretty okay. But, God, like, flying from Chicago, I mean, I was sitting next to a guy who was like 70 years old and believed he had the God-given right to put both his elbows on the armrests, and since he was sitting near the window and I was sitting on the aisle, he wanted to keep the window shade open the whole time so he could look out the window and look at, like, Alaska or whatever. And I had been up since, well, 3 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Not fun. Yeah, got butt slammed about a dozen times by the stewardesses walking by. God. I mean, I know there have been flaps in the past about, like, weight requirements for stewardesses, but whatever political correctness has taken hold has just gone too far, because I swear my shoulder's gonna get dislocated by one of those hefty stewardesses. And next time I'm probably not gonna fly United across the Pacific. ANA, maybe. I heard Korea Air was good. Yeah, this is one thing I want to ask to everyone. What airline do you recommend for flying across the Pacific in economy class? Not business class, not first class, but economy class. God, what else? Let's see. Oh yeah, with United on the way from Tokyo to Chicago, going there, I asked for an aisle seat, and the first seat I sat down, flight took off a few hours, about an hour into the flight. Tried to use the reading light, didn't work. And I told the stewardess, and she moved me to another aisle seat a few rows back, and I tried that one, and that reading light didn't work either. So that was the flight to Chicago. On the flight from Chicago to Tokyo, let's see, I told you about that guy who liked to have the window shade up and liked to have both of his elbows on the armrests. Oh God. There was like the stewardess's best friend who happened to be sitting across the aisle, who just had to talk and talk and talk with the stewardess while I was trying to sleep after having gotten up at 3 a.m. Central Daylight, 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What else? Oh yeah, the last meal before we landed in Tokyo, about an hour and a half before we landed in Tokyo, they handed out these trays that had, what, like a thing of yogurt and a cookie and what looked like a sandwich wrapped in tin foil. And while they were handing the trays out, the stewardess said something like nice and hot or something like that. And I touched the thing wrapped in tin foil, and it was room temperature. It was not heated at all. And so I said, "Excuse me, miss, is this supposed to be hot?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, it's not." And she touched it, and she said, "Well, we'll throw this away." And she just took it and tossed it in a garbage bag attached to her cart. And at that point, I was like, oh shit, does that mean I'm not getting anything? And she pulled out, she felt around the other trays, you know, touching each of the sandwiches wrapped in tin foil, and found one that was warm, and said, "Here's one that's hot," and she gave it to me, and it was basically, you know, a bit of French bread about yay long with ham and cheese inside, heated up. But that was after, what, how many hours in the airplane? 11 hours in the airplane? Just, the attitude was just not not helpful. And getting butt slammed in the shoulder every time she walked by didn't help either. I mean, all of the little things, like with the reading light and with the sandwiches, and I mean, somehow I get the feeling if it was ANA, either that wouldn't have happened, or they would have gone more to make up. They would have done more to make up for it if something like that had happened. But so, anyways, any recommendations for economy class next time I go to the States? Comments below are welcome. Hopefully, I'll do something with my other videos later. Now it's time for me to sleep.